Tesla is currently capable of turning out about 5,000 electric vehicles each week when at maximum capacity, which is a huge leap forward from this time last year, yet far from the estimated figures of this time next year. The rate at which production has grown has been exponential, and this has been partly due to the surge in demand for electric cars and the increase in interest and popularity for the brand. But how has Tesla, a very young company compared to the established brands, succeeded in ramping up its production in such little time? To understand how, we must first understand why, and we're faced with the time-old question of which came first, the chicken or the egg. In this instance, we ask whether the interest in stepping away from fossil fuels came to light first, or whether it was the launch of companies like Tesla which introduced new possibilities that fueled the pro-electric anti-fossil fuel debate. Regardless, Tesla was a huge success with wealthy customers hitting the mass market in the early 2010s with its Model S. By the end of the decade, the affordable Model 3 meant electric cars could be put in the hands of many average consumers. Opening up this door created a huge surge in sales for Tesla, putting CEO Elon Musk under incredible stress to meet targets that, a few years back, would have been frankly unachievable. A new plan of action needed to be devised, and quickly. Elon Musk first implemented autonomy in his factories on a large scale with the production of the Model S later in 2017. But this was deemed to be unsuccessful, as are many first attempts at anything, especially this challenging. Nevertheless, the factory was a far cry from its state in 2010 when purchased from General Motors. But when the Model 3 launched and demand skyrocketed, it was time for the company to have another crack at speeding up the process. In a haste to assemble more cars, and at quite a precarious time for the company financially, the company assembled a giant tent outside its factory in Fremont, California. This allowed about 250,000 Model 3s to exit the facility in 2019 alone. The production line was designed to be simple, with many parts entering this final stage pre-assembled and shelf-ready. It will be a case then of fitting an entire seat assembly rather than the frame, the material and the stitching. Footage shows entire dashboards being installed with the infotainment display already in place. The production line is made up of just 43 steps, which is said to be between a quarter and a third of the amount of steps employed in traditional auto manufacturing. It may come as no surprise that the futuristic warehouses are full of robots. In fact, more than 1,000 robots are employees of the Model 3 body shop. They're said to improve accuracy while reducing the time spent on each vehicle. So far, this has been true. It's said that panel gaps have notably improved, which put the current generation of Teslas in line with the Germans, which are said to be the golden standard of manufacturing. On top of this, the car bodies exit the process a lot more clean. This means that fewer imperfections and inconsistencies to texture and tone are seen on the raw metalwork before the paint is applied, helping to deliver premium quality. While the robots help the cars go from an empty shell to a functioning vehicle in as little as 90 minutes along a short 1,000-foot journey, Musk hasn't cut all staff from its factories. There are certain jobs humans can do better than machines, include looking after the machines themselves. Musk famously said that you can't have people in the production line itself, otherwise you drop to people speed. What he means by this is that the production line can only work as fast as its slowest component, and with humans being the slowest component of any production line, he aims to eradicate them where possible. People will maintain the machines, upgrade them, and deal with anomalies, he said. Currently, only the human brain is capable enough of problem solving. Elon Musk's goal for 2020 and the years to follow is to produce 1 million cars per year, and although this year looks to be a figure around half that, it's safe to say it's been anything but a normal year. Still, a 36% increase over the previous year is nothing to be ashamed of. To produce the world's population of Model 3s from a tent in California would be impossible, which is why production will be spread globally to satisfy various markets. It's been mentioned that there could even be a gigafactory located in each inhabited continent of the planet, and that might not be a distant dream. The Shanghai-based warehouse was built on an empty plot entirely from the ground up in less than a year, and its Berlin counterpart is expected to open its doors even quicker. While many automakers outsource many stages of their vehicles' production, such as stamping, which involves bending the metal panels into shape, Tesla aims to cut the costs by doing all of this in-house. Musk openly admits that there have been teething problems with the new autonomous style of assembly. There have been instances where steps have had to be repeated, for example, after an error spotted by human eye has been identified. But the process relies heavily on artificial intelligence and machine learning, which both help the self-healing of any errors and induce constant improvement. We know the company has the ability to collect masses of data about its cars and their users, but what is discussed less so is that it collects much of its data from itself, including its assembly machinery. Even so, autonomy and robotics are in their infancies. Developing things like computer vision, which refers to how a computer sees and interacts with its environment, will help increase the production line's dependency on these, which although incur huge upfront cost, are cheaper in the long term to employ. Various visits have taken place in Tesla factories, and the results have been promising. Many write or talk of their positive experiences and report on the reality of the autonomous machinery's efficiency. Some have suggested that the company could easily accommodate a 10,000 weekly production figure in the very close future with a little tweaking and growth, and that's just from one factory. We must also remember that, for many of its first years, Tesla was building and adapting processes just like these behind closed doors when the company wasn't so much in the public eye. Being somewhere between a car and a tech company, Tesla works remarkably different to any other car manufacturer. Not only is CEO Elon Musk writing a new way of assembling cars, but he is rewriting the process for the entire industry. Pioneering at the forefront of this new era, it's only a matter of time before we see other car companies adopt a similar process. Although customers are waiting weeks and sometimes months for the latest model, much of this time is spent in the shipping phase, and that's after the backlog of other people's orders has been cleared. The car itself is ready in as little as 3 to 5 days. That means when more facilities are in place globally, ownership could happen in just a few weeks, and who knows, maybe one day, just days. All of this is truly impressive, but what's most important to you when you buy your next car? Reduced waiting times and associated costs are a huge benefit financially, but at the loss of potentially thousands of assembly jobs. Or maybe it's time for the auto manufacturing industry to catch up with production lines in other industries, which have already become more reliant on autonomy. Tesla's gigantic Gigafactory 1 in Sparks, Nevada, has been able to churn out battery packs for the company's groundbreaking line of electric vehicles at the rate of around 5,000 a week for some considerable time now. In terms of sheer volume, that puts Elon Musk's operation in a stronger position than all other rival electric car companies put together. This is an important factor in the company's soaring share price, and by extension, Musk's world-beating bank balance. So how on earth are they accomplishing it? And how much quicker can Elon Musk's groundbreaking firm potentially go? Today, we're donning our hard hats for a look behind the scenes at exactly how Tesla builds batteries so fast. Elon Musk has made no secret of the fact that one of the main stumbling blocks he faces on his way to weaning humanity off the internal combustion engine is the quality and capacity of the batteries his cars use. Making a car run on electricity is easy enough, apparently. But storing enough precious juice on board to make owning an electric car a comparable or even superior proposition than regular gas guzzlers has thus far proven elusive. And while other aspects of technology, most notably microchips and integrated circuits, have become exponentially more powerful and compact over time, battery tech has lagged behind, in both technical sophistication and the sheer ability to deliver and manufacture units at scale fast. One way Elon Musk and Tesla have managed to ramp up battery production is by bringing battery manufacture under the same roof as his other automotive activities. For now, and over the next few years at least, Tesla works in partnership with Japanese electronics firm Panasonic, an old hand in the battery business. But rather than sending away to have batteries manufactured at a Panasonic plant, Elon Musk cleverly insisted Panasonic bring its production lines to the Tesla Gigafactory. This obviously has the benefit of nigh on eliminating stubborn shipping delays, but also, thanks to Musk's not inconsiderable resources, gives the battery design process space to breathe, in quite literally the largest building on planet Earth. Vast apparatus like the cathode press or cathode rollers fit comfortably in the mammoth facility, with plenty of scope to scale up, for instance, the cell aging process. Cell aging, since you ask, is an essential part of the battery cell manufacturing process. When a cell first rolls off the production line, it's entirely useless from a chemical standpoint, until that is a protective layer called the SEI, solid electrolyte interface, is allowed to form around the electrodes. This can take 10 to 12 days, although innovations at the Gigafactory have enabled Panasonic engineers to age cells in place as part of a whole battery and not individually, which is far more efficient and therefore quicker. It's worth emphasizing at this stage that for Elon Musk, factories aren't simply warehouses that happen to be crammed full of whirring machinery. How they operate and function is, in his view, every bit as important as the finished car itself. He said as much to a shareholder meeting 5 years ago. We realized that the true problem, where the greatest potential lies, Musk began, is building the machine that makes the machine. In other words, building the factory. I'm really thinking of the factory as being like a product. Therefore, almost no detail is left to chance. The Gigafactory itself, for instance, wasn't just plonked down at random on a conveniently flat bit of desert. Instead, the entire vast 15 million square feet plant lies on a rigorously precise north-south axis. Partly, this is in order to get the best out of the rooftop solar arrays, but also it helps streamline the sophisticated indoor navigation systems for the factory's small army of robots. Those robots perform a majority of the car and battery-related manufacturing tasks in the factory. Just as an example, when components need moving from inventory to the production line, robots perform the function more quickly and more reliably than humans, using a combination of smart GPS and magnets embedded in the floor. This is also, fairly obviously, a boon from an industrial safety point of view. This isn't to say that every little detail of all that goes on in the Gigafactory is automated. Far from it. Indeed, reflecting Elon Musk's data-led approach, when a job is demonstrably tackled better by human beings, for instance connecting lengths of dangling pipe, a human being is duly hired. As Musk himself admitted not long ago, we did go too far on the automation front and automated some pretty silly things. Panasonic's expertise is of course a major factor in Tesla's success, for now at least. The electronics giant is said to have sunk some $1.6 billion into its work at the Gigafactory, not least committing to adding a 14th production line in the Gigafactory last year to meet demand. Indeed, the company is only now starting to make a meaningful return on its investment. Still, Panasonic knows as well as anybody that Elon Musk is not a man to tolerate less than exemplary performance. And as it happens, Elon has been extremely vocal about his wish to make his own batteries just as soon as it's commercially feasible to do so. And although back in June, Tesla and Panasonic renewed their commitment to work together until 2023, Elon Musk is openly hiring engineers to begin building batteries in-house at Fremont, California, and at the forthcoming Gigafactory in Berlin. Indeed, Musk issued a veiled threat to Panasonic on Twitter in 2019 by suggesting their work at Gigafactory has lagged. Tesla won't spend money on more capacity until existing lines get closer to 35 gigawatt-hours theoretical, he said, dubbing Panasonic's disappointing work rate as a constraint on the Model 3 and sending shockwaves through the battery world. Musk's willingness to hold Panasonic over a barrel commercially like this has at least enabled him to wring ever greater performance out of the Japanese firm. Through publicly expressing disquiet at the company's supply chain delays and making no secret of his wish to be rid of them, he's inspired Panasonic to develop new, more efficient and quicker techniques for delivering the latest generation of 2170 lithium-ion cells, currently being used in the Tesla Model Y. Denser, more efficient batteries like these, which largely supersede the older 18650 batteries Tesla previously used, is key to Tesla's vision of making electric cars even more efficient, quicker out of the factory, and crucially more affordable over the coming years. Elon Musk's very public, very ambitious claims, like his promise to deliver a $25,000 ticket price Tesla in the next couple of years, certainly serves to keep Panasonic's wits sharp and their production methods lean. As ever a man with his eye on the horizon, Elon Musk also looks forward to an era when rare, ethically problematic materials like lithium, and especially cobalt, can be eliminated from Tesla's manufacturing processes altogether. And in a September announcement, he brashly claimed Tesla is looking to produce 100 gigawatt-hours worth of battery cells reliably by 2022. That's enough for 1.4 million vehicles, with or without help from Panasonic. So there you have it. Tesla builds batteries so fast by housing as much of the process as possible under one smart roof and replacing fallible human hands with robotics, but only where appropriate. That and aggressive tactics with commercial partners, plus outrageously ambitious public targets that Elon Musk's deservedly massive ego demands he meets. Also, the coffee at Gigafactory is said to be insanely strong. Does Elon Musk drive his commercial partners and employees too hard in the ruthless pursuit of excellence?